Hello out there, people. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are watching this on the prison planet. Hope you're doing fantastically well. Don't forget to give the video a like, share, subscribe, all that stuff really helps me out, as you know. Hopefully, today the sound is better. Had a lot of people moaning about the sound. I've had a look at the mic, and I'm not a very technical person, you see. I'm quite technically challenged, and those kind of things are not great. So if you're in the chat, I know it's early and the sound's better. Just type in thumbs up or number one, just so I know what I did work. I think it worked. um, but yes, guys, good to be back. Guys, don't forget you can also check out my work if you'd like to work with me as well on my website, transcendingtimes.org. Don't forget, I also have a Telegram group where I post what I think are funny memes. Some people think they're funny anyway, and we discuss other topics. So don't forget to join that. All the links are in the description of the video. Yeah, as normal, guys, please put in your questions in the chat. We've only got 11 on at the moment, so we'll just wait for a few more people to join. Please let me know how it is where you are on the prison planet, and we might even get a little bit nostalgic again today. In the last live feed, I did get a little bit nostalgic. I was talking about the 80s music. Uh, I keep doing that. I keep listening to old music and reminiscing. I don't know whether it's because I was a kid and I didn't need to work, because I think that's part of it, isn't it? You know, when you're a kid, you don't have any responsibilities. But there was this account that I follow on TikTok, and they put all these old 80s pictures of just people, kids playing on their bikes. Do you remember those old bikes? And we had the spokes, and we used to go racing down the hills and all that kind of stuff. It just seemed like a completely different world back then. And little did I know back then what I would learn about this place. It's really crazy how things have turned out. I'm not going to go on too long today. I've got limited time, but I wanted to jump on because it's been a few weeks since I spoke to you all, and I know as a community, it's good for everyone to get together and we have a laugh and poke fun at things and stuff. So yeah, guys, don't forget to hit the like. This is my free time, and just takes 2 seconds. So give and take and all that stuff. So we're going to let's get into the questions. I haven't got anything specific. I've got a few NPC stories. I mean, I could get into that first of all, but let's just go to the comments first of all. Hi D, hi Jay. El Diablo Radio International. Diablo is Spanish for the devil. It's kind of a funny title there, but hello anyway. No Sky Trails, that's good to hear. Interdimensional Cat, hi Tony, tuning in from Florida. Hi to you. I used to love racing on my bike as a kid. Yeah, it was just so carefree back then. Did the world change or did we change? Well, I think the world's always been pretty crazy, but and I think we've definitely changed with knowledge. So I'm a cartoon character. I'm handsome, cheeky little devil. Cool. Whatever floats your boat, mate. Whatever floats your boat. Clear blue skies in the south of the Netherlands. All good. All good that they're not spraying you like bugs today. Ears ringing. So ears ringing, that can be a raise in frequency, I would say. If it's a high ringing, it's a raise in frequency. If it's a low hum, then that can be AI. So what else have we got here? How is it where you are? Do you talk about the Mandela effect? Is that part of your worldview? Well, the Mandela effect, yeah. I mean, I haven't done a specific video on it. It does seem to be something along the lines of, some kind of altercation or changing of timelines to that effect. There's been a few things that are weird things. The whole the Monopoly game. You've got the guy with the spectacle that went missing, and then the title of. Do you remember that famous TV show? I think it was Sex in the City, and it changed to Sex and the City. So yeah, we got a few different things going on there that are strange, but yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but yeah, there's so much weird stuff going on right now, and every day it's like a different psyop, isn't it? You know, I remember back in the day there used to be a psyop every couple of months. Now it's every day. They're not, blocking out the sun. They're doing something, something else on a daily basis. But I wonder if it's just, I always think when there's a big story, which there is every day now, they're always trying to distract you from something else. So I think the biggest issue that we have right now, certainly in the physical realm, is basically the whole digital thing. The digital ID, the digital currency, all those, the electronic enslavement that they want, and they're really pushing for that at the moment. There's a lot of talk about that in Australia, in the UK. We've got in the UK we've got Tony Blair. It really surprises me how they've rolled out Tony Blair. I mean, even the most indoctrinated NPC doesn't trust Tony Blair, but they've rolled him out. This is what I mean. They don't have too many people to pick or to choose from, so they roll out the same people. And I'm sure the people that are really behind all of this, I'm sure they've never even seen the light of day in terms of what we know. I guess those people are completely hidden. So they roll out, these puppets like Bill Gates and Tony Blair. And this is why they have to employ from the general public. This is why they have to get the police and, the army. They have to pull these people from the public to roll out these agendas, because there's not too many of them. And again, that shows where the power lies. I mean, the whole thing really is so stupid when you think about it, because there's well, they tell us there's billions of us. I mean, we don't know exactly how many exactly there are. They tell us there's 7 billion. I mean, who knows? But there's such a tiny amount of these psychos, and yet we've given all our power away to just the tiny few. And if everyone woke up tomorrow and just said, no, we're not doing this anymore, this whole place, well, I mean, I guess a lot of the fundamentals of this place wouldn't change, because I think inherently, it's set up for evil. You look at nature, you look at the human body and stuff like that. But certainly, things would be different, I think, if we just realised that. Let's just go back to the questions. Hi, Faith. Hi, Nasty Crew. What do you think the most important thing to do upon realizing you're dead, so as to not be manipulated to the light mind white life review? I think the most important thing you can do is get clued up when you're alive, which is why we're all here, right? Most people live their physical lives without doing any kind of research, or again, that word's kind of triggering. Research, because it implies that we've done this before. So the problem is most people don't do anything to seek any kind of truth while they're alive. So when they die, you die ignorant. It's not like and we see this from NDEs. It's not like you just die and then you all of a sudden you become enlightened, so to speak. I don't like that term; it's very new agey. But so I think what we're doing here and trying to work out, the things that go on, the manipulations, the tricks, that's going to prepare us for that moment. And there's other things that we can do as well. Like I talk a lot about energy training and becoming strong on that side of things. Because again, we don't really know, like you hear so many things, but like we don't know what kind of, are they using weapons? I've researched things that like there's these like butterfly nets. We know the memory wipe process are like, it's like an electrocution kind of thing. So they're not, the point is they're not messing around with what they're doing and how they're doing it. They use weapons here in 3D, or their minions do anyway. So who's to say that they're not doing it in the astral? There's plenty of accounts from astral travelers that speak of it. Certain entities there with different. You got like a police force in the astral realm version of Earth where they've got bands and stuff. So I think it's all about being as prepared as we can for that moment. Now, it seems to be when people are dying that false light, it comes over quite strongly, and it's very alluring. Like the energy of it is very alluring, and it draws people in. And so we have to really be on our mettle, so to speak, to veer away from that. So I think it's all about learning as much as possible while we're alive, to prepare for that moment, and just really being prepared for anything. So yeah. What is the best way to learn about astral projection? Well, I'm not the expert on that. There's plenty of people on YouTube that talk about it. So, yeah, I guess I don't know anyone in particular. I mean, Robert Monroe did a lot of good work around astral projection. He wrote 2 or 3 books, I think, and yeah, so that was he was like the go-to person. But then I think he got corrupted. He was part of the Gateway Project, and then I think the powers that shouldn't be got to him. But his work's still good. He has a lot of experience, and he has a lot of experiences with entities where he had to fight back and things like that. So he's well worth looking. Particularly his early work, I would say, look into that. So, guys, we've got 85 people on the live, just 22 likes at the moment. So please just take a second just to hit the like button for me. Hi, Amit. Hi, Kiki. Sorry, I'm just going through all your questions. Use your intention to exit the matrix. Yeah, I think that's the key. And I talk about our intention being like a car. Like you have to take control of the steering wheel. And so many people, through their ignorance, they're not taking control of the steering wheel. These entities are coming in and guiding them, as they say. And the steering wheel's being taken for them, and they're like, hey, why don't you drive your car over here? And then all of a sudden they're in for a life review, and then a memory wipe because they didn't take control of their steering wheel. So it's a case of taking control. Intention's very strong. It's very it's instant in that dimension. So it's again, it's all about giving our power away. Like it's just like what people are doing here. They're giving their power away to these false prophets, leaders, quote unquote, politicians, God, all that kind of stuff. And when they do that, they're just being led into a certain direction. And of course, it's quite often not the right direction. So this is where we need to become our own leaders, discern, make our own choices based on objective truth, because truth is not subjective, despite what the New Age or the New Cage movement would tell you. They want to tell you that you can just make it up as you go along, and whereas actually there is an objective truth to everything. So, are you aware of Alibar Jones? Yeah, I've heard of him. I've not looked too much about what he does. I know he's kind of like fighting back, but I don't know. Wasn't he like channeling? Don't quote me on that. I might get that wrong. Or he was talking to some kind of entity race. That's always a red flag to me. Again, I'm not saying he's definitely done that, because I don't want to say anything that's not true. Because I've not really taken a deep dive in his work. I just looked one time, and there was some kind of communication with some kind of entity race. And for me, as you guys know, I don't really go with that. Most of these entities are false light beings and that kind of stuff. I might be completely wrong on that front. So yeah, I'm not saying that he definitely did do that. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, about the El Diablo, I'd need to look a little bit more on your channel. Um, 'Cause like I said, that's Spanish for the devil. So, um, have you come across Destiny swaps yet? Freaky as fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Can you elaborate a little bit more as to what Destiny swaps are? Who did I learn from the most? Who did I? That's a good question, actually. Um, I mean, a lot of it's just come from experience and working with people down the years, where people have just shared their stories, particularly around like false light beings and channeled information. Because I've been approached so many times down the years of where people have told me that they've been communicating with loved ones, angels, guides, all this kind of stuff, and and then proceed to tell me that they follow the information and their life ends up in a complete mess, and all this stuff. So I learned so much about that, about how entities work, about how they get into people, how people open themselves up without even knowing it. I mean, I have so many examples of that, and even down to the point, guys, of where people are listening to like certain YouTube videos and stuff, where they'll say they were listening to a YouTube video, like certain like frequency video or something. And again, I'm not saying that they're all bad, but then something's come in and they feel, they're feeling drained all of a sudden, and you have to be so careful. So quite honestly, I would say I've learned the most just from working from people. Just noticed, yeah, just learning from the experiences people have, and how these entities are like opportunities. They'll hook in onto any weakness that you might have, whether that might be like a subconscious wound or an addiction or something like that. Um, there's been people like down the years that I've taken bits from, um, but I mean the new age stuff. I mean, I don't really, or exposing the new age stuff. I don't really align with a lot of his work these days. Mark Passio, back in the day, I don't agree with the whole natural law thing, which is basically karma. And I don't see karma playing out here. You have fat pedos that have all the wealth, all the resources, and then you have good people that are just have nothing and are getting bombed and all this kind of stuff. yeah, it's absolute nonsense, and it's just something that they use. These entities use to kind of shoehorn you back round, get you feeling guilty about yourself when you go through the life review process. Um, and so, yeah, so a lot of what he talks about, I realized that he was blaming everything for us. You know, it's all our fault. You know, we're ignorant. Yeah, all right, we are ignorant. But if you consider the fact that we've been mind wiped, if you consider the fact that a lot of us maybe have come from clones, like if you look into the interview I did with Guy a few weeks ago about the Cabbage Patch Babies, and you know that's going to have an effect on our consciousness. You know, we've been dumbed down. The food's dumbs us down. A lot of it's genetically modified. If you're in countries like the States, so you can't just say it's all our fault. You know, we're here. We're being hijacked to an incredible level, both physically, energetically. When you look at, you know, the overlays, the the etheric implants, the entity attachments that influence our thoughts, that are looping these negative thoughts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week around our minds. So it's kind of like set up, this place is set up for us to fail. So to blame it all on us, because this matrix, it always wants you to blame you. You know, if it's not your bad karma, it's something else, you know. But my point was, he did do some good work on exposing the new age, and I have to say that I've got to tip my hat to him for that. That was good work. But yeah, as I say, most of it comes from people that I've worked with down the years. So let's have a look. Yeah, hell on earth. Yeah, I mean, you got to call a spade a spade. It pretty much is, you know. I always say, like, even if things are going well for you in your life, can you ever truly be happy knowing that there's like kids getting bombed and people with like cancer and stuff like that, people rummaging through bins, they don't know where they're going to get their next meal from. Um, it's very difficult, you know. It's Tom Campbell. No, he's Tom Campbell's. He says that Earth is a school, and I mean, many of us at this point have debunked that theory. I mean, how can it be a school if you have your memory wiped? It just can't. Like by proxy, it cannot be a school, because at a school you take the exam, and if you fail, you still remember what you learned, and then you take it again, and then you might pass. But they wipe the memory, so you forget everything that you've learned. So it cannot be a school. And a school, you can just quit or you can bunk off. Here, you can't. I mean, you can if you want to like top yourself, but yeah, he's out there saying that Earth is a school and all that nonsense. And you know, again, it's all about getting people to bend this place into a pretzel to make so they accept all the evil that goes on this place. You know, if they can get you to accept the evil here, then you're not gonna do anything about it. You're more likely to just accept your lot. And I mean, you hear people say it. Like, how many times have you had conversations with people and they say, "Well, it's always been like this. It's always like this is just how it is." Like, why is it always like it? Shouldn't be like it shouldn't be like this. Um, so it's all about, yeah, it's all about them convincing you that there's nothing wrong with this place. I mean, you've even got new agers out there saying that we're living in 5D and this is the new Earth. It's like this is how crazy it is. They've managed to convince some people that they're actually living on some kind of utopia, because they don't want you concluding that this place is evil, because then you ask the most important question then is why. And they don't want you going down the why rabbit hole. Because if you go down the why rabbit hole, you're then going to lead yourself into conclusions, which we have done here, that this is a hell realm, we're being tricked here over and over again, memory wiped over and over again. And so, yeah, people like Tom Campbell are out there, you know, pushing those theories to convince people that it's okay here. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here, guys. It's just a school, you know. You've got to learn how to be grateful by, I don't know, whatever traumatic lifetime that you have. Learn patience by just having a lifetime where you lose your leg. You know, all this nonsense. And the whole idea of duality, you know, we've got to have evil, and we've got to suffer so we can appreciate the good, you know. I mean, it's just, that one really annoys me, because New Agers use that a lot. You know, we have to have evil here. Why do we need to? Why have we got to have it? Oh, because we wouldn't know what it feels like to feel good. And the amount of time you feel good here compared to the amount of time you feel bad, it's got to be like 80-20, right? And like I say, even if you're feeling good, you're still looking for the rug. Is a family member going to get sick? Are the NWO going to pull a financial, you know, crisis? You know, I've got to pay for a roof over my head. Like, there's always something, you know. So the bad far outweighs the good. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not suicidal. I just see it for what it is. I don't try and bend this place into a pretzel, you know. So it's all about blaming you. You know, your bad karma. If you're religious, you are a bad person. You're going to go to hell. You know, all of it. Even like the self-help stuff. It's like, oh, you need to, you know, do more. You're not doing enough. So crazy. The mud floods, Tartaria, Atlantis buried some refurbished other buildings. Oh, it's incredible! It's an incredible rabbit hole to go down, the Tartarian Empire, and you know, there's talk that there was giants back then, and they were using free energy. I mean, churches, the steeples of churches were used to harness free energy. Actually, guy on my Facebook made a very interesting post about the pylons, the big pylons that we see that go across the whole countrysides. They're saying that that's an illusion. There's a conspiracy saying that that's an illusion, and they're actually harnessing free energy. Which, when I heard that, I thought, do you know what? I wouldn't put it past them. You know, they've got all these pylons all over the world that apparently are linking with each other. Some people in the comments were saying that a lot of them like stop in forests, so you can't see where they stop. But they've created an illusion that we have to pay for electricity when all these pylons potentially are already harnessing free energy. And I think they are. I mean, when I heard that, it resonates. So this clown world, potentially, we're paying for free energy. So imagine they're harnessing it from these pylons, and we're paying for it. I mean, it's crazy. It really is. But Tartaria, yeah, churches were used for healing. So organs used to heal the organs. The frequency of organs used to heal organs. That's why very rarely now there's no organs in churches. And the harmonics, they destroyed all the giant bells, which the frequency of the bells used to scare off all the reptilians. And then I don't know how. Well, I do know how they did it with the mud floods. There must have been They wiped out that society. I was watching or reading something the other day about a country called Turkmenistan, and apparently it's really difficult to go there, and everything's hidden. And of course, they say it's really dangerous, just like they do in Mexico. They say that about Mexico as well. Don't get me wrong. If you're here in Mexico and you're trying to sell drugs, you step on the toes of the cartel, you're going to get your throat slit, right? But aside from that, um, yeah, it's like I've been here for 6 years. Nothing's ever happened to me here. The reason they don't want people looking at a place like Mexico is because you have more freedom here. You know, you don't have letters every day arriving on your doorstep. You don't have CCTV looking at you everywhere. So you have, I mean, it's still on the prison planet, but there's a little bit more free range here, let's say. But that country, Turkmenistan, apparently there's still free energy there, and it's all hush hush. You don't hear too much about that place. So the world, I think, at some point was completely different. There was even talk on this thread that the Tartarians didn't need to eat and drink, and they didn't even need to poop and pee. So we don't know how much we've been scammed here, if these things are true. So, do you think some YouTubers are evil? I think some are knowingly. Like a lot of the new age, some of the new agers, I think definitely know what they're doing. They're part of like what I call like there's a core of them, and they would include like Elizabeth April, Magenta Pixie, who's that other one? Laurie Ladd. I think there's the core new age, you know, the really popular ones. I think they know exactly what they're doing. It wouldn't surprise me if they were, you know, Satanists or whatever. I mean, the new age is basically Satanism inverted anyway. They've just shrouded it with love and light. But I do think that there's people that just repeat things that are, you know, are just, they're repeating them because that's what someone else said, and they're not inherently evil. But for sure, you know, there's controlled opposition, and there's one lady that I posted it in my Telegram group today, and conspiracy. I was getting so many people sending me her videos, and when I listened to her stuff, there was a lot of good stuff in it, right? I always give credit where it's due. But I looked one week at what someone sent me a video 2 weeks ago. She had 25,000 views, right? She's talking similar things to what I'm talking about. Very polished. A lot of people saying that potentially that she's AI. I can't vouch for that. I don't know that, but you know, you make your own mind up. But someone sent me a video. At the time, this was 2 weeks ago, she had 25,000 subscribers on YouTube, right? Now, bearing in mind, it's taken me since 2015 to get to 23,000 subscribers, right? My stuff's shadow banned. People are telling me all the time that they don't see my videos come up and yada yada. And then someone sent me another video yesterday, 50,000 subscribers a week later. I'm like, what? You know, that to me is like a massive red flag. So I said in my Telegram, like, you know, you guys do your own due diligence. You know, I'm not telling you not to follow anyone. You do you. But to me personally, that's a red flag. Because me and other YouTubers like me, we've done videos every week, some people every day for months, years, and we're still struggling. But I said in my Telegram group, I said, look out for the dump in the punch bowl, guys. Look out for the rug pull, right? There's a lot of truth in that, but you know, just look out for that. And then no sooner, because I haven't watched a lot of her stuff, no sooner as I said that, someone sent me something. He's like, here, she's talking about connecting with Archangel Michael and Jesus, which are basically just negative entities masquerading. And I'm like, well, there it is then. There's your dump in the punch bowl. There's the rug pull. So if you take on all her information and when you pass and you've taken on board that it's okay to connect with Archangel Michael and Jesus, and then they meet you at the pearly gates. You know, this is how subtle it is, and people are like, well, you know, take what's good and leave the rest. Well, yeah, to an extent, but if people are sharing this stuff, you know, I try where absolutely possible. I'll double check, triple check before I open my mouth. I'm very cautious to put anything out there. Especially, you know, when you do start to get more subscribers and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, you know, there's the dump in the punch bowl. So you got to look out for these things. So let's just go back to the comments. Pylon's right outside my house. I have EMF protection. Thoughts on Putin being a CIA clone? I mean, I think anyone that's like a head of state, I mean, they're clear, clone or not clone, they're essentially a puppet, aren't they? So I don't pay any attention to what's going on in the movie, as I call it, because all these things are. I mean, I still can't believe that people believe that Trump was shot in the ear, like, and he swerved it like Neo in the Matrix. It was that was funny to me. So yeah, I mean, AI clone. I mean, who knows? It's who knows if he's a clone or an AI. I don't know. What do you think of YouTuber Area 52? I don't know who that is, so I can't comment on that. I'm just having a look. What else we got here? Do I believe in a good God? Very cautious about God, the word God. You know, I believe that the God of this realm is some kind of AI for sure. And interestingly enough, I did speak about this on another I don't know, interview or something. See what you guys think. You know when people talk, and this happened to me about, you know, when they took psychedelics or something like that, they felt that their consciousness merged with something, and you know, they felt like insignificant. They felt like the drop in the way. I know I've spoken about this before, but I think it's important to speak about it. That happened to me, and I remember that I felt pissed off because I felt like I'd merged with something and I'd lost all my sovereignty, everything that I'd worked myself to be, you know, everything just kind of like paled into this weird, yeah, it just didn't, it felt like I'd become like a Siamese twin with everything. And I felt really uncomfortable. But at the time I had less awareness. And I said to my friend, this is years ago when I took acid. I don't recommend that now. I said to my friend, I was like, oh, that must be what everyone talks about, like merging with God or consciousness. And I felt very uncomfortable about that. And the other day I was thinking that what if, you know, like they have like an AI cloud where everything's hooked into the cloud, everything becomes part of the cloud, and they want to hook humans into that cloud. What if that is what I was merging with, because it felt like something like that. And I just did an NDE review where she talks about merging with source, and you look at the language there; it's all like source code. It's very like AI, and yeah, for me, like merging with anything, that's really something that I'm not gonna do. I want to retain my sovereignty. Is there to go back to the question? Is there some uh, original essence from where we came? I mean, we must have come from somewhere, but where did that? If there was an original creator, where did that come from? And I definitely know it to be true that we have I call it essence, a spark of that creative essence within us, and that spark is very powerful. It generates a lot of energy. That's why we are the batteries that are powering this whole system, and that's why we create so much loosh that they feed on, or the negativity and the fear. And this is why this place is kept in a perpetual state of fear and trauma, because it's food for them. So whether or not we've always been individual sparks or we came from somewhere is still up for debate. And I don't know if I don't know, while we're in a physical vessel, I don't know whether anyone can say for certainty. And then you have the question of, well, if we did come from like an original essence, like the question is, why is that essence kind of standing back and allowing this? But then the argument is, well, if we are a spark of that, then it's up to us to end this. So you can go really deep down the rabbit hole with that question. So, oh, can you still hear me, guys?